So, welcome back to the workshop. I just told you a little bit how you can do a different social enterprise, or what you could do if you really like to attend to a social enterprise. And I let out a little bit the decision-making process, which I would like to show you and feel and practice a little bit with you. Because what we do is, we call it consensus democracy because someone found the term some years ago, and we just saw that it appeared to be true to our decision-making process. And why we do it? Why do we do collective decision-making with 1,680 collective members, and why we do it consensusly? Well, we believe it gathers knowledge and needs in the decision-making process. We believe that the decision which is made by the collective and in consensus will have smarter solutions for a problem. We believe that the solutions which are found collectively and consensusly are fairer solutions, and we believe that at all it sums up to a more protective company, or it will protect our company much more by great solutions. So how do we do it? Actually, there are four sides of a decision-making process. The first one is very obvious. If you don't have a problem you want to agree on, if you don't have a goal you want to find a solution for, or a problem you find a solution for, there is no decision. It's one case side of any decision-making process. You need to agree on a goal. If you have agreed on a goal, then it's necessary that everyone who wants to attend to a decision-making process names their needs and perspectives and interest in a decision-making process. If you can deal with these needs and in a decision-making process, how shall that end up in a decision which is be made? If you don't want to include your needs, how shall they be represented by the decision made by the collective? After that round, you have the problem, open problem right now. You have stated your needs, interests, and perspectives. There's a discussion round. You will practice that in a few minutes, I promise you. And after the discussion round, there is something like a suggestion round. You have discussed all the problems from different perspectives, different needs, and there will some person show up and state the first suggestion how to find a solution. And actually the process of finding a problem and having a solution normally takes in our collective between 1 week and 3 weeks. That's the normal time we take from the problem opening to the solution which is found in consensus. But it's not every time like that, because consensus means everyone agrees on. Nobody likes to block or change anything from the decision anymore. Sometimes it's just take its time. The longest run decision-making process right now in our company is like 8 years. That it's related to the sugar in our product, in our Coke. We want to actually reduce. I'm on the side of the people which want to reduce the sugar in our Coke, but there are some people which just like the taste of sugar in their soft drink, and they block this decision to be made. That can happen, but normally doesn't. So after these four sides of decision, or the foreground of decision-making process, there are five. There's a short overview I will give you later. There are 5 levels of agreement. The nicest one is fully agreement. Nobody else wants to change any more of the suggested idea or of the suggested solution. That happens very often in the first term, that there's no one else after the suggestion is made, that nobody wants to change anything more. That happens very often, like the half of the time. So it's very often. The second level, like, hey, I totally like the suggestion, I really like the solution, but there's one small thing I want to change. Can we talk about it? That's also happening quite often. And then you have major amendments, like, okay, this suggestion is totally great, but I have a problem about it, because of taking an example, 2 things together which are actually separated. Let's talk about if we can split it first and make 2 decision-making processes out of it. That can happen. Or, hey, we have a very similar decision-making process there, or we had something in the past, I want to attend to that, let's merge it to one decision, that things can happen in major amendments. There's the fourth level, like stand aside, which happens in a collective like our bigness very often. Hey, the problem is clear. I don't have any perspective or any need at an outcome of it. I just stand aside. Whatever decision you want to make, I will block it. I will just stand aside and don't care. Or I just don't have the time right now and I would like to think about it later. Or yeah, so you get an idea about it. And the last one is the veto. Consensus means that everyone has to agree on a decision. And that happens not that often as you may think about, as would be in a collective like in our bigness. Yeah. Over the decision-making process, and veto happens every 2 months. That's not very often in my idea if you have 1,680 persons. And normally it's like, okay, if the consensus is reached, it's everything fine. You're just going to do maybe a next decision-making process, or you find the next problem, you have to find a solution. If not, you're just going again to, you have the problem, you just state your needs, you show up the given arguments to that stage, and you just try to find another solution. And this process goes over and over in circles until you find a solution everyone is friendly of or don't like to change anymore, and you have a consensus. So that's how we do our decision process. It's not magic, it's not dark magic. And to experience a little bit, I have some exercises for you. That's why I arranged you in the groups, and you will get, yeah. The exercises is, the aim every time is to find a consensus. You have for the first exercise between 10 and 15 minutes in your group, and that's where we are. We have a shared flat. And normally we take premium as a very nice picture of a shared flat. You have the boundaries of the world outside of that flat, which is a capitalism, which sets you some boundaries. And in the collective, there's different needs and there are different things you have to deal with. Like there's a room which has no Wi-Fi and you can't put internet or LAN into that room. So there's no internet at the whole room. Or there's a room which is every time all the year cold because you can't put in a heater inside because there's maybe a problem with the electricity, so you can't put an electricity inside. So what you do is that's the flat you every time wanted. It's your flat. It's based in the center of your hometown. It's in the third floor, and you just wanted this flat all the time. But right now you found out that there are some problems, and you have to arrange with the person you want to live there. The people next to you are the people you want to live with there. So you have to find a solution who moves in which room. And that's your task for the next 10-15 minutes, to find a solution who wants which room. So just to remember, there is room 1, which has a balcony and their own shower. There's room 2, which has 2 entrances from other rooms. There's room 5, which is no internet. There's room 6, which is just cold. There's a kitchen. There's another bathroom with a sink. And your turn is it right now to share that flat and find a solution who wants to live where. You have right now 10 minutes, and I wish you very much luck. And it's just for warming up. So the people sitting next to you are the people you want to discuss. The first, if a group found a solution, just raise an arm. So. You have 5 more minutes. And who is finished, just raise the arm. Finished. I guess these are finished. They are in the back finished. What about you? Okay. You're finished? Yes? No? Okay. So every group is finished. Everyone found actually a solution. So maybe just sit back. That's... How was it for you? How did the discussion emerge? Did you find a solution, everyone? Yes? Was it fun a little bit? I hope so. Okay. So you got in touch how we discuss things. Normally we done it at our computers and laptops and just writing about it, but sometimes we also do offline meetings once a year where every collective can attend to if he likes to. So that wasn't a very easy thing. So what I want right now to share with you are real cases we had in the past of our company, and I want you to put a solution to that problem. And I hope it's funny for you or interesting for you how things can find a solution. Actually, we have for every case study right now 10 minutes because we're running out of time. But yeah, what I want you to do right now is a solution for that case study. We had a case of discrimination in our collective. A collectivist is working as a freelancer and produces 10% of the revenue. And he is very important in the collective. And after 3.5 years, he starts suddenly to discriminate other collective members on our mailing list by asking them where they came from, how big is their family, how is the income, and do they get social money and stuff like that. It's not very clear what happened or where does it come from, but it's very obvious that it is discriminated speech. And yeah, how he asked about the permission to live in Berlin and how big the family is. And it's very vague and indirect, but it's very clear in which direction it's going to. And how to deal with that is the question right now. You have to find a solution. Right now, everyone here in the room is a collective. Everyone here can discuss and find a solution to it. So if you like to move the chairs by side or just turn around and discuss with people, that's what you do right now. We have right now 10 minutes, and your goal is to find a consensus on how to deal with that problem. Just remind you, he is very important for the collective, 10% of the revenue. He is an old collectivist. We know him for more than 3.5 years, but he is discriminating in the collective. Right now, it's your turn to find a solution, how to deal with that problem. And just remind you, it has to be a consensus, all together. People, just to remind you, all together, not in your groups. You have 5 more minutes. You have 3 more minutes. So, how does it look like? You have a... Okay, I see the group in the back has a solution. In the front, they have one. So, how does it look like? Do you all have a solution? So, group in the front, do you have a solution? Does everyone feels good with that solution? Or would you like to discuss more? So, how does your solution look like?
Well, we
Mhm.
better to lose 10 than everything.
Mhm.
Or we believe that it's better to lose 10 than everything.
Did everyone hear that solution? No. The solution is more or less first talk to him and to that discriminating collectivist and ask for his reasons and let him explain what he is doing and why and how come does he is doing it, as far as I get. And if he is not willing to talk about it and find a solution for it, to let him go, because the 10% are less valuable than the future of the collective. Is there a group which found a different solution? Yes, just share.
So we agreed that after 3 years and 5 months of having working with this freelancer, we have made some connections, and
Mhm.
at his first questions we wouldn't really be disturbed. But as the situation would persist, then maybe there would be talks between the members of the
Mhm.
personnel, and indeed we realized there is a problem. Then we agreed that we would go internally in terms of having the human resources department intervene with different measures like team building sessions,
Mhm.
discussions with each individual, including the freelancer, which has become problematic, and different trainings, some reminding of the code of conduct for our organization, and actually give him a chance to see what's happening with him or
Mhm.
her. Maybe there is something which is temporary, and then we just help the person with that sudden behavior.
Mhm.
And if it doesn't really work, we will have to bring some external experts which would see how to intervene in our organization and have to, from outside somehow. And as a last resort, if we cannot really solve and it's very upsetting for the personnel, we would ask him to quit our organization.
Mhm. Is there a group which has a different solution for that problem? Yes, just throw it. Share it.
Our solution is more or less like the other solutions, but at the same time, well, this person worked for the company for 3.5 years, and it's something that suddenly happened. So, and we think that this person may have friends in the company, so we would actually sort of integrate a spy. We won't do one.
Mhm.
But we would actually try to understand the changes in life. So we would try to have this sort of, I don't know, slow approach. We
Mhm.
wouldn't be very straightforward, but we would just try to understand. And then we also think that it might be psychological. There's some, like the question
Mhm.
is asking, maybe he's trying to compare himself with this other person. So in this case, our company would try to organize more events where this person actually could see that the discriminated person is a normal person, just to like sort of try to connect them and prove that he's wrong in a way. You see?
What about the last group?
Very similar conversation, a very similar, of course, decision. Actually, to be honest, I need a little more details to have a very concrete decision.
Actually, we just have 10 to 15 minutes per case, so.
No, just, I mean, even if I know if it's a person from Germany, for example, or if it's a person from somewhere, if it's a man or female, some kind of this type of little details will show us a better decision.
Mhm. Just to let you or show you, there are totally different or very close solutions for that. Some are excluding external knowledge, some try to do it over communication, and there is, by our side, not this one great solution for that. And these kind of solutions are coming out of the collective from the person who want to decide about it. So as you see, in all the groups, there are different ways to find a solution. And I couldn't tell which one would work better. I just could tell you about what we did. But actually, I would like to go to the next case. Yeah, but that's because you want to know which was the right solution. And there is no... Actually, I can tell you very quick what we did. First, the measures of the revenue stream were important for us at all, because 10%, fuck it can happen again. That's if our collective is run by measures of revenue stream, something's wrong. Secondly, we weren't clear about the person who he discriminated, if they felt discriminated. So we tried first to communicate with them, but then we came to mind that, hey, it doesn't matter if they feel discriminated, because the person who wants to discriminate them doesn't care if they feel discriminated, but he tries to do so. So after we talked to them, and they said, hey, it's no worry, but we said it's a problem in our collective. We don't want discrimination in our collective. We started to talk to him and asked him about his reasons, why he is doing it, if there's something going on his cycle, if something happened, if he felt like someone treated him wrong or something like that. And after a while, where we established a permanent discussion with him about what he is saying and why he is doing it, he just left because he said, it's too stressful for me, I don't want to discuss it at all. And if you don't care about me, and what we didn't, we tried to talk with him on the same level. We didn't do it on the punishment level, like, hey, you're doing something wrong, don't do it. We tried to understand what happened, and yeah, he said he don't want to talk about it, so he left the collective. That was a solution we didn't want it to, but that's the solution which came to that problem. So, yeah. Actually, I heard at some group, if there's something like a code of conduct, in our collective we don't have something like a written code of conduct like other companies have, but we have an implicit code of conduct by the decisions we made in the last 13 years, like things we don't want the profit in front of everything else. We have a culture around discussion with each other on the same level and not going above or under another person. So we have no written down code of conduct, but we have an implicit which came up by the discussion culture and by the decisions we made in the past, which also affects the future decision-making processes, like things about that. So do we have 10 more minutes, or do we have to, I mean, it's your break, so I don't want to put a break away, so. So one opening, if people want to stay, they can. If people want to leave, they can do right now, please. Okay, great. So there's another very interesting case study we had. Some years ago, we had to fire a collective member for stealing. And it turns out he turned insane and roams the internet with discussions on platforms, from server accounts to post on a group, posted on a Facebook page which weren't belonging to us but connected to us. And he offered himself to the media or to newspapers as a whistleblower who can tell what we are really doing, where our profits go to, and what we are doing wrong. And he also published a few articles in a union newspaper about working conditions, where he believed that are the ways we're working. And he started to appear to conferences and talks or workshops where he said, hey, that's not what they're doing. And and he even started to contact customers about it. So your solution you have to find in the next 10 minutes is what to do about it. What to do about it as a collective. So, and again, you have 10 minutes. You have 4 more minutes. You have 2 more minutes. You finished?
No, it's not the image of the company, the reputation of the company. He has done something, and it comes from someone internal. So that's why I think the situation should be also they should be split.
Please come to an end.
Because I mean, the image of the company. Yeah, you can like use of as somehow is good. If you take distance from the person.
So, let's come to an end. Did every group found a solution? No. How come?
Well, I mean, in this case, there were two opinions. I think both has some logic behind, but we didn't manage within 15 minutes to reach consensus. The first direction says that the company doesn't need to justify itself. It has its own history and it has its own reliability. And maybe they can talk with the customers, and the customers already have the history and the deal and the benefits and everything, and there's different scales and measures to do that. And for the employee, the company might see the contract, and if it's in the contract very clear that this is illegal or not accepted as a behavior, then they go to court, open a case, and sue the employee. The other opinion was not very far away, but they were thinking that the company needs to justify, or not justify, to defend,
Defend.
and to deny what the person said. So that was the only part where, and the rest I think we had an agreement on. It's just a matter of if they have to do that or not. Yeah.
It's great that you made this experience that you couldn't find a solution in that time, because that's happening very often to urgent problems. You can't find a consensus in an urgent situation. That sometimes happen, and that's okay, because that means that you're really willing to find consensus and not people just giving away their opinion or their perspective for a wrong or a bad agreement. That's great experience. Yes? Yeah.
Deeds, because he cannot face an organization himself as one person.
Yes.
And,
There's one problem your solution would have. Since 13 years, we don't have any kind of written contract. So there wouldn't be any paragraph where you could go to court for. And in 13 and a half years, because we don't have any contract, written contract, there wasn't any court case we ever opened or someone else did against us. Just to let you know, we don't have. Yes.
do you have any proof that he stole from you?
Yes.
Okay, so that, yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, but that even wouldn't be a thing we would do. The group in the back, did you find a solution?
We had three options actually.
Okay, great.
First one was try to restore the relation with the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he somehow damaged the image of the company, so he could be the solution to restore the image. Another one was first to, let's say, what was suggested was to prove that, because we didn't know that if it was true or not that he stole. So to prove, to go under let's say, investigation before to take action. And the third one was strategy
Uh-huh.
to give first a position statement regarding the situation, to clarify to the media, to the audience that actually was affected by this
Yeah.
bad company, to explain what's happened and what the company was going to do once the situation was clarified. And the second step was also to restore the image by providing information regarding the transparency of the company, regarding the results the company achieved.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So you did a cascading solution. Yes. As a group, it's a lower back.
We felt that transparency was probably very important so that people could see that it's not as this person says this. And our first step was to try to talk to him, even we don't really, well, we're not sure if it will work, but you can always try. And then afterwards we try to sort of also give people who are interested in the story, just show them how it is so that people, if there's written articles written about it, at least it's the truth. And if the last step could be, if it doesn't help, could be to sue him for slander, but that's very expensive and hard to accomplish, so that would be
But you found an agreement or a consensus on that solution? Or where's a small amount?
details, so we were not.
Okay. What about you in the front?
We took a more aggressive stance. For some reason we forgot that we had the ability to talk to this guy to get him to calm down. But we had. Sorry, what's the first one?
Yeah, we thought about like publishing the reason why he was fired, and then just handling the situation like we don't care what happens after. So if there are people who doesn't want to buy our product afterwards, okay. But everybody who knows the reason and who is knows why we fired him will still buy our product.
Yeah.
So I think that was the main solution.
Our solution to that problem was these things all happened after he was fired from the collective. So the case of that he really stole, that was closed, that was clear, and in the collective everyone knew about it. What we did was, okay, first we tried a cascading solution because we believe in things like, yeah, first talk to them, maybe something comes out. And we tried first to talk with him and communicate with him, which made him much more insane. He just went more aggressive. That's where, when he published the articles on the union papers about our working conditions and stuff like that. So what we were at first, we didn't know how to deal with that, but after a while in the collectives they come in consens to, let's do it in a kind of digital Al-Qaeda. So he is putting a lot of power on us. And if it hits, that means that there are some things maybe unclear about us. Maybe there are things, if they really hit us and the customers don't know about it and maybe believe him, then he maybe has a point where it really hurts. And maybe we have to find a solution for that point. Something like, okay, if he believes or that he can tell a union paper about our working conditions, maybe we need to become more open about them and tell more people about how we do things. If he says there's the founder who is deciding everything, then maybe we should become more open to the process of decision making and include more people and show them how we do it. And that's actually what we did. We took all his power and let first come it to us, and then we made sure at that point what is really about it, what is the truth about it. And after a lot of time, in software development it's called penetration test. If you like to take a look in the Wikipedia what we did, you can find the strategy there. You take the power, you take where it leads to, and then find a solution for that and be open about it. We did it, and it was a long time that we had to do it, but after 6 months, the attacks started to slow down, were less, became less, and even he one time showed up to a workshop or to a presentation like that today. The person who was giving it was just letting him speak openly, that he could tell the audience what he wanted to say, because then you can handle with what he has to say and can invite people to take a look at what is really happening. If you just say, hey, you have to go out and don't speak here, that's just bullshit. That doesn't work. That makes much more bad influence and effect than letting him speak and be open about what he has to speak. Yeah, after 6 months it stopped. Right now it's not happening anymore, and we found a solution in being open and being informative and inviting people to take a look at what is really happening. That's how we did it. Just a few last 2 slides. There are other forms of consensus making. It's not just the one we do in consensus democracy. If you like to see more, they're on a German webpage, and you can't see them, sorry. Participation.at, an Austrian webpage, where you find more forms of consensus. There's a systemic consensus, which is measuring the level of non-agreement. So your non-agreement has no effect on the decision-making process as all, but you're measuring how many people are against it, but it doesn't matter, it doesn't influence the consensus which is made at the end. There's another one, sociocratic decision making, which just allow reasonably vetoes in your consensus. So there's a person, he wants to block a decision from made, he just has to give a reason for it, and that puts a lot of power in a moderation from the process, because there's a moderation who has to decide what is a reasonable veto, and we don't want it, so we don't use it. Yes, that's from my side. I thank you for attending to the conference, to the talk and the workshop. If you'd like to contact me, there's my mail address and my Twitter handle, but I'm just tweeting on German, sorry for that. If you'd like to talk to me, I'm here for 20 more minutes and I have to leave. And thanks for letting me speak here and attending.